The helicopter banked hard, tilting at an alarming angle as the pilot struggled to regain control. The sky spun around us, a dizzying blur of blue and white. A sickening lurch in my gut told me something was terribly wrong. The engine sputtered, coughed, and then fell silent. The cockpit instruments went haywire, flashing red warnings that screamed danger. We were going down, fast. The ground rushed up to meet us with terrifying speed. Impact. Metal shrieked, bending and twisting under the force. Glass shattered, spraying shards everywhere. The world spun in a dizzying blur, my senses overwhelmed by the chaos. Then, silence. I was alive but disoriented. Pain radiated through my body, but I could move. I had survived the crash, but I was alone. The dense, unforgiving wilderness stretched around me, an endless sea of green. The helicopter was a crumpled mess, offering no hope of communication or rescue. An emerald ocean swallowing me whole, its vastness both beautiful and terrifying. I had to find a way out, but where to start? 72 hours. That's all I had to escape this green hell. The clock was ticking and every second counted. My heart pounded against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the stillness. Fear threatened to paralyze me, but I couldn't afford to lose my nerve. Panic threatened to consume me. Breathe, I told myself, in and out, steady. I needed to stay calm and think clearly. Take stock, no gear, no supplies, just the clothes on my back and the raw will to survive. I had to make do with what I had. The setting sun cast long shadows through the trees, a stark reminder that time was already slipping away. Night would bring new challenges and dangers. The first rule of survival, don't panic. I had to get to work. Shelter, water, food, these were my priorities. I scanned the area for materials, branches, leaves, anything that could provide some protection from the elements. The forest was both a threat and a resource. I had to stay focused. Every decision mattered. My survival depended on my ability to adapt and overcome. With determination, I began to gather materials. This was just the beginning of my fight for survival in the heart of the wilderness. Water, the lifeblood of survival. In the wild, it's more precious than gold. Every drop can mean the difference between life and death. Without it, dehydration would cripple me within hours. My body was already showing signs of distress, dry mouth, dizziness, and a pounding headache. I scanned my surroundings, my eyes searching for any sign of moisture. The forest was dense and every shadow seemed to play tricks on my mind. A glint of silver caught my eye. It was a fleeting moment, but enough to spark hope. A stream, no wider than my arm, snaked its way through the undergrowth. Hope surged through me. This could be my lifeline. But wait, drinking directly from a stream is a rookie mistake. The water might look clear, but it could be teeming with unseen dangers. Bacteria and parasites could spell disaster. A single sip could lead to severe illness, or worse. I remembered a trick from my survival training. It was a method to make the water safer to drink, even if it wasn't perfect. Using my hands, I dug a shallow hole a few feet from the stream's edge. The soil would act as a natural filter. Slowly, muddy water seeped into the depression, filtering out some of the larger impurities. It was a slow process, but patience was key. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. The water was still murky, but it was less likely to harbor harmful pathogens. As I quenched my thirst, I knew finding a more reliable water source was paramount. This was a temporary solution, a stopgap measure. But for now, my body had been given a fighting chance. The cool liquid revitalized me, giving me the strength to continue my search for a safer, more sustainable source of hydration. The jungle floor was growing cold as night descended. The once vibrant and bustling forest was now cloaked in an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and distant calls of nocturnal creatures. The darkness seemed to stretch endlessly, swallowing the last remnants of daylight. The air, thick with humidity, offered little warmth. It clung to my skin, making every breath feel heavy and labored. The oppressive atmosphere was a constant reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. In this dense, suffocating environment, finding comfort was a distant dream. I needed fire. Fire meant warmth. Fire meant protection. Fire meant hope. Without it, the night would be an endless struggle against the cold and the unknown dangers lurking in the shadows. The thought of fire brought a glimmer of determination to my weary mind. I gathered a handful of dry leaves and twigs, their brittle forms crumbling under my touch. Each piece was a potential spark, a tiny beacon of hope in the vast darkness. I moved with purpose, my hands working quickly to collect as much kindling as possible. Next I found a larger piece of wood, and using a smaller stick, began rubbing it furiously against the dry bark. The friction created a faint warmth, a promise of the fire that could be. My movements were methodical, driven by the primal need for survival. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours, my arms aching, sweat stinging my eyes. The effort was exhausting, each stroke of the stick against the wood a test of my endurance. Doubt began to creep in, but I pushed it aside, focusing on the task at hand. Just as despair threatened to extinguish my dwindling hope, a wisp of smoke curled from the wood. It was a delicate, almost ethereal sign that my efforts were not in vain. The sight of the smoke reignited my determination, giving me the strength to continue. Gently, I blew on the ember, coaxing it into a tiny flame. Each breath was a careful balance, enough to feed the ember, but not so much as to extinguish it. The flame flickered, growing stronger with each gentle puff of air. I fed it with small twigs, then larger branches, until a crackling fire illuminated the darkness. The flames danced and crackled, casting a warm, comforting glow around me. The fire was more than just a source of heat, it was a symbol of resilience and hope. As I huddled near the flames, their warmth seeping into my weary bones, I knew I had cleared another hurdle. The fire's glow chased away the shadows, bringing a sense of security and peace. In that moment, I felt a profound connection to the countless generations before me who had relied on fire for survival. Fire, my constant companion, would ward off the night's chill and keep my spirits high. It was a beacon of hope in the vast wilderness, a reminder that even in the darkest times there is always a way forward. The fire's light was a promise of survival, a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. But the fight was far from over. The jungle held many more challenges, each one a test of my resolve and resourcefulness. With the fire at my side, I felt a renewed sense of determination, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The journey was long, but I was prepared to meet it head-on, one step at a time. The morning sun, a blazing inferno in the sky, sliced through the dense canopy. The air hung heavy and still, thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying vegetation. I knew I couldn't stay here. I had to move, to find my way back to civilization. But the jungle was a labyrinth, its green walls seemingly closing in on me. Panic threatened to rise again, but I pushed it down. Think, the sun, my compass. I remembered a basic survival technique. Holding my arm out, I aligned my thumb with the rising sun. East. Now, to keep the sun at a consistent angle as I walked would lead me west towards the coast. It wasn't perfect, but it was a direction, a lifeline in the green maze. Hunger gnawed at my stomach, a constant reminder of my dwindling energy. The jungle, while a formidable adversary, also held the key to sustenance. I just had to know where to look. Edible plants, their leaves a vibrant green, grew in abundance near the stream. I recognized them from survival manuals, their images seared into my memory. Berries, their hues a vibrant contrast to the surrounding foliage, offered a burst of sweetness. Insects, a readily available source of protein, crawled beneath rotting logs. It wasn't a gourmet meal, but it was nourishment, fuel to keep me going. The jungle, once a menacing void, was slowly revealing its secrets, offering sustenance with each step I took. Survival, I was learning, was about adaptation, about embracing the resources that nature provided. The jungle whispered around me, a symphony of buzzing insects and the rustle of unseen creatures. The isolation was almost tangible, a suffocating blanket pressing down on me. The fight for survival, I realized, was as much mental as it was physical. Doubt, like an insidious vine, threatened to choke my resolve. Loneliness, a constant companion, whispered insidious suggestions in the silence. But I couldn't afford to surrender to despair. I clung to the memory of my loved ones, their faces a beacon in the darkness. I focused on the tasks at hand, each small victory a testament to my will to live. The human spirit, I discovered, was an unyielding force capable of enduring unimaginable hardship, and it was this spirit that would ultimately guide me home. The sound, faint at first, drifted through the trees, a distant thrumming that sent a jolt of adrenaline through me. Could it be? Was it real, or just a figment of my exhausted mind? I pushed through the undergrowth, my heart pounding in my chest, and then I saw it, a road, a ribbon of asphalt cutting through the green expanse. Salvation. Tears welled in my eyes, a mixture of relief and disbelief. A truck rumbled into view, its horn blaring, a symphony of civilization. I had done it. Against all odds, I had survived. The hospital bed felt impossibly soft, a stark contrast to the unforgiving jungle floor. As I lay there, my body battered, but my spirit unbroken, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had been forever changed. The experience, though harrowing, had been a profound teacher. It had stripped me bare, revealing the raw instinct to survive that lay dormant within us all. It had taught me the importance of preparation, of respecting the power of nature. Never again would I take for granted the simple luxury of a bed, the comfort of a warm meal, the embrace of loved ones. These things, I realized, were the true treasures in life. My ordeal is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that we are capable of overcoming extraordinary challenges. But it is also a cautionary tale. The wilderness is a beautiful but unforgiving place. It demands respect, preparation, and a deep understanding of its inherent dangers. So I urge you, equip yourself with the knowledge and skills to survive. Learn from nature, embrace its wisdom, and never underestimate its power. Because you never know when your instincts will be put to the ultimate test. What will you discover when the wild calls your name?